Hello?
Doctor?
Hey.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
Cool. Yep.
Let's see. I'm just going to check it, double check it, make sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got or I actually didn't realize we already had the official Apple converter.
Oh, neat.
Not like a third-party one for the USB.
Okay.
So that's the difference. So should be good now.
Cool. Yeah.
Hopefully.
It sounds fine. So if it sounds fine to me, it
Good.
means it sounds fine to everybody. Ideally.
Yeah. Yeah, I did the video voiceover with it as both a way of testing it and just doing that. So it seemed like it was okay on that, but I'm still relieved that it's okay on this end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so record. Okay, so looking at notes here, did you want to do what you were talking about, which is we kind of limit it and then we do like a mini? After?
Yeah, because that's going to be a really short subject.
Yeah, because if so, we can just do the iTunes thing that's on here.
Okay.
That article, I guess, unless you had a different idea.
No,
we can discuss that in the show.
I saw your note, and that works fine.
Right. Yeah. So I was trying to think of, okay, if we're gonna split them like that.
Yeah. We
need to do something. So. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So, are we just gonna start the show with plugging the Patreon?
Yeah, I was gonna do no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna do the rolling start this week. We're just gonna cut all this shit out and then.
It's super weird. I don't know if it's my headphones or what. Your voice sounds way deeper.
That is weird. That's really weird.
Like, it sounds like an octave deeper.
I'm not sick. Not again.
No.
We're gonna have
strange.
We're gonna have to ask the listeners. Like, did Matt sound weird this episode?
I'm sure they'll say something if you did. Maybe it's just my headphones.
I don't feel tardy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll let you do the thing then if you.
All right, I'll do
fine.
I'll do my thing.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't give a shit. Sorry. Welcome
everybody to Lex and Matt's Excellent Adventure. As always, I'm Matt Peters, and I am joined by the one, the only, Lexcetera, Lex Lutz.
Ugh. Hey. That's a name.
It is a name.
You went with it. Cool.
I did. I can check it off my list, my super secret list that nobody can see but me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of super secret things that people can't see, except certain individuals, we got a Patreon, everybody.
We do. We have one. We finally have one.
Yeah, we launched our Patreon, and I would like to personally thank our first patron. He's a gentleman. He's a scholar. Kevin Haverty. He's a great dude. And
Kevin! Oh my God. Sorry. I left you at home and I just freaked out. Sorry.
I think he's old enough to be left home alone at this point, Lex. But yeah, Kev's a great dude. I've known Kev for years. He is one of the OG writers for Pads and Panels. It was a website that I used to work on with Bill Jones, and we would review video games and comics and really terrible B movies. And I kind of kept that aspect of it and ran with it because I was short-sighted. So, no, but Kevin's always been a cool dude. And thank you, Kevin. Also, folks, we can thank you as well if you contribute to our Patreon. You can give us $1.
Yeah, Kevin got special treatment this time because he was the first patron.
Right.
And that like deserves recognition.
When businesses frame their first $1, this is us framing our first patron.
It's not fun when someone just lets you hang out there, is it?
Not at all. Did I do that to you? What did I do?
You've done that to me on almost every episode of this podcast.
What do you mean? So you're doing it again.
Hold on one second. I actually have a technical issue here.
No.
Okay. Hello?
Yep.
Okay, can you talk for a second?
Sure. As I sit here waiting.
Okay. It was my headphones, dude.
Huh.
I was like, it was, not only was I hearing your voice being an octave lower,
Okay.
it was doing a tit in the whole background using Bluetooth headphones.
Oh.
So, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to either restart or what. We just got started, but I was like, I need to switch over to plugins, so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
That was my bad. We can just go from there or whatever. Or we can leave this in. You know what? Everyone, this is how the magic is made. But you do leave me hanging sometimes. You get distracted by something.
What are you talking about?
It drives me nuts.
I'm working the board. I'm working the board over here. You got to give me a little bit of leeway. This is real live radio, except it's not.
Guys, write in and tell Matt that this is reality, that he does this.
Look, I'm over here pulling switches and putting cords and things, and
you're not doing shit. Whatever.
Letting steam out of certain aspects.
This is why the Tetris thing. I was like, nah, son.
Hey, I was real tired that day, and that was a good episode. We got a lot of compliments.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. I'm not saying it ended badly. I'm saying I was reluctant for a valid reason.
Plus, I mean, you like to talk anyway, so you can talk more.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I talk too much on a fucking podcast.
Yeah. I didn't say too much. Sure. I said you like to talk, which you do.
Yeah. Chatty Cathy over here on a fucking podcast.
I didn't call you out of your name.
Yeah.
Well, except at the beginning I called you out of your name.
Except for when you actually did that. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So we have our Patreon.
Yes.
There are things you can do if you can't support. You can share our show. You can tell your friends about it. You can give us reviews. But if you're able, even like $1 or whatever helps. But we have all of these cool things that we're going to give out to patrons. If you end up giving X amount of money, you go on there, you can see all of our tiers, and made a video. It's a funny little video on there. Mm-hmm. We're going to have exclusive episodes and exclusive content streaming if you subscribe to a certain tier. Basically, if you hit X number and up, you get access to those exclusive episodes, everything like that. We have stickers. We're working on mugs. I have a mug in the mail right now that was shipped today that I'm going to test and make sure it's good.
Stickers in the mail too. We got our sticker connect on that today. X gonna give it to you. You can't get it on your own. X will deliver to you. Hmm? Knock, open up your door. It's real. Never mind. I'm done with that. So yes, you can.
No. I was like, go.
I was joking with D. I said it'd be pretty weird and cool if somebody made a playlist of all the random song references that I dropped on the podcast. Because I know some of them just like whiz right over your head because they're kind of obscure.
I'm cool with other people doing that. As long as I don't do it, I'm it's just like anything. Like I'm like fan art, things, whatever you want to do. You love our show, that's great, but I'm not doing it.
That's right.
I already do it.
Nope. We got enough going on. We got a Patreon, everybody, so we got a lot on our plate already. So
just FYI, if you subscribe, we're going to start mailing that stuff out the 1st of next month. That's what Patreon told us to do. But we'll keep you updated on there as well. We'll make updates on there. We're going to get exclusive episodes up this week or next week, something like that.
Yeah. It'll surprise you. It'll surprise you how soon you'll hear that exclusive episode. Plus outtakes and shorts and all kind of good stuff that you don't normally get to see. You get to see how the sausage is made, metaphorically, because nobody else wants to actually see how sausage is made.
I'm a fan of that metaphor, but okay.
Yeah.
So we also have this thing where if you even just give $1, like if you join the $1 patron, we have a Facebook group now that we just set up. And if you subscribe to the Patreon, even just for $1, you get access to it as our thank you. And we're going to be interacting on there. You can talk to us. You can give us articles. You see something you want to go on the wall of weird, you can send it on there. If you see something you want us to talk about, you want to make comments on the show, you want to meet other adventurers.
Right. That's the best way to get in touch with us right now, actually.
Yes.
Because there are so many different avenues of communication, as you all know. Sometimes you lose track of that stuff, but I, for one, have an alert on my phone. If somebody comments in the super secret, double secret Facebook group, it
secret
will.
Probation.
Yeah, all that stuff. There's a special ringtone that happens on my phone, so I will be right on that. So
That's
get
fancy.
at it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a link to it in the post on Patreon. So there's a link there, and I shared it on the Facebook page as well. So that's just a nice little thing that you can get into. And like I said, it starts at the $1, the most basic tier, if that's all you can do, and every other tier. If you become a patron, you get access to it. So go for it.
We want to keep doing this for you guys, but, it costs money. And hosting fees happen. We want to keep doing this without weighing the podcast down with a ton of ads and stuff like that. I mean, we love Third Coast Comics. We appreciate what they do for us and everything. And of course, it's right, in our demo, because we are a show that talks about comics sometimes. So that's fine. We would prefer it to be organic. Nothing against Sleep Number or True Car or anything like that, but we'll leave those ads for Talk is Jericho. We want to just get down to business. So
they don't want any part of us. Just
I love the transitions. Chris Jericho, he's he used to be a former wrestler. He's back in the business now. He has a podcast where he's interviewing just different people. He's also a rock star, or he thinks he's a rock star. He'll just dip into an ad sometimes. So he'll be talking to somebody, and it's weird because there's like a slight audio change, and you can tell that he recorded this after the fact. So he'll be talking to, Slash from Guns N' Roses. And he's like, haha, yeah, Slash, that's great. We're going to talk to you in a second about how you first picked up a guitar. But for now, if you're looking to slash prices on your car insurance, check out TrueCar.com.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to ads. I like when they put it at the front, where you can just skip over it or whatever. You can do whatever with it. But I'm not opposed to ads. I will say, if we get to the point where we did, for some reason, have more ads, we would offer ad-free on a low Patreon tier, because I enjoy when podcasts do that.
Yeah, that's a good compromise, I think.
I think so too.
But of course, the listeners definitely let us know what you would prefer too, because this is us. We tend to agree a lot, but if you guys want to hear something a certain way, we're open to suggestions. There are podcasts I listen to sometimes too where they try too hard to give more content to go along with the ads. Like, what was it? I used to listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave, and they would work out full mini one-act plays to go with Casper sleep mattresses or something like that. Okay.
Why make more work than you need to? I that's the part where I'm like, whatever.
Right.
But either way,
Jeff Davis is making up songs about MeUndies on Harmontown.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Jeff Davis is a gem. He's a great dude. Yeah,
I don't know who that is, but cool.
Jeff Davis is one of the guys that he frequents on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy that's always in the bespoke suit,
Yeah. He's the one that when he's on there, I'm like, oh, why is he on there? You're not the original cast that I want to see.
Oh, right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Wayne Brady's a treasure as well. So.
Yeah, no. So we have that going. We'd appreciate if you at least take a look at it. Go check it out. Little Sweet Chili Babies. That's one of the tiers.
There's a great high tier that you guys should check out too. It's all the way at the
Yes,
bottom.
there is a joke tier. We made a joke tier, but if you do it, we'll make it a reality.
We'll make it happen. But that's all we're going to say.
Would.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we would. If one of you is psychotic enough to do it, then we'll do it too. We're down to clown.
If one of you is bold and daring enough to do this,
innovative, strategery,
a true taste maker, if you will. If you're down for that, we will slap that taste right out of your mouth.
Oh, that's a preview. We're not going to say any more.
That's it. Okay, I'm done with it.
Because I want people to go look at it.
Yes.
At the very least. You're going to like it, guys.
All right. So let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought you made that up at first. I'm like, whoa.
I did.
In your mind.
You're talking about Brendan Fraser and Tom Welling?
Yeah, I'm like, you made that up. There's no way that...
It's a dream team. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Someone's been reading your journal.
I know. Someone saw my puffy paint. Like, what? So, Brendan Fraser, sorry.
Yes.
Now, the only thing that concerns me about this is I have no idea where this is going to stream or be available.
Right.
Because it's on the Scandinavian VOD service Viaplay. And I'm like, well, that kind of makes me sad. But
yeah. You know, stuff like that usually ends up on Netflix, though. Because it'll be on, like, BBC.
Yeah, it'll be on Hulu. Yeah. So Brendan Fraser and Tom Welling, guys, Tom Welling are going to be in this Soldiers of Fortune. It's a loose remake of a movie that. Wait.
It's a remake of Soldiers of Fortune,
but it's called The Professionals.
The Professionals, yes.
Yeah. So, Tom Welling, Brendan Fraser. I mean, two guys that I'm like, why aren't you working right now? I want to see more stuff from you.
Yeah, like I was excited when Brendan Fraser joined the cast of Doom Patrol because oftentimes I wonder, hey, what's Brendan Fraser up to? You know,
God, he was on top of the world, and then he just kind of disappeared. Like, why?
There was a story about it. I don't want to.
It better not be Bedazzled because that shit was glorious.
Yeah, it was at the time, it was a great film. I'm sure it hasn't aged well, but at the time.
Oh, now I want to rewatch it.
Yeah. Hey, so Brendan Fraser, I guess he had some issues he had to work out or something like that. I don't know the exact.
Now I need to know.
Right. I mean, we'll look it up and we'll get back to the listeners.
What do you think he's going to be on this podcast? He's not. I mean, I'll do a Freezer cast, but
hey, I didn't forget. We're still trying to woo Anna Faris, so I'm trying to be nice to her friends, and I'm guessing he's one of her.
I think she might be done with podcasts altogether.
Really? That's unfortunate.
Okay. This is not. I don't know shit because I'm not connected. She hasn't released it. They haven't released a new episode of her podcast in like 2 months.
Wow, we devolved into like a Hollywood gossip podcast all of a sudden. We're like,
guys,
really?
This was my long con. Long con was for this. This is what I wanted. Let's talk about it. Did you hear the rumors about Bradley Cooper? Possibly getting divorced. I fucking talked about that. Or splitting. Wow. It's Gaga, man. Fucking knew it.
I don't know. I hope it's not, because that's so bad, man.
Oh, of course it's bad, but everyone's terrible. Have you not figured that out yet?
Like, I would understand even if it wasn't Gaga, but just like the impending shadow of Gaga over their marriage. Because of everyone asking the same questions, because of all the late night hosts joking about it, because of us speculating about them eye-banging. Yeah. Right there in front of the entire world, you know? Like,
you want that bad romance.
Something about a raccoon. I got nothing on him. So... there's okay.
Something all right, about a raccoon. That's my favorite. Okay, go ahead.
Let's get through the Brendan Fraser news.
Oh, never.
Tom Welling's cool. I'm glad. You know, he's a nice dude. I loved him in what was that movie he was in? 8 is Enough? I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
You better watch what you fucking say right now.
Brendan Fraser though, national treasure.
Oh my god, The Mummy is still amazing. Like, that's still a movie that if it's on, I can watch it at any
Mummy,
point.
I'd even argue for Mummy too. I'd watch that too.
Okay, we've talked about this. I need to revisit that because I was not a fan when I originally watched it. Was that why they recast Edith? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was 3. I think 3 was the one where they recast
maybe it was 3. Or maybe it was the little kid that bugged me. I don't know.
Yeah, the little kid was a knucklehead, but most little kids were. And the Tom Welling movie I was thinking of was Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah, I like Cheaper by the Dozen. I can get pissed as hell at a little kid in a show if they are not cute enough, or
too cute.
If they are annoying, or I don't know. Like, it can go bad.
If you don't like the cut of their jib.
I hate the cut of most kids' jibs, so it's a tough sell for me to start off with.
It's hard to find a kid
I'm not
with a good
a fan
jib.
of most kids.
No.
I'm not a kid person.
No.
They got jam on their hands. Where'd it come from? I don't understand.
They got poop. They got chocolate. They got jam. Who knows?
Yeah, they always have jam hands. I can't. I'm not a jam hands person. I can't deal with jam.
Sticky.
That's an obscure reference that someone's gonna get.
So I used to tell D, like, because we talk about having kids and stuff like that on occasion.
Ew, why? Sorry,
yeah,
go
right.
ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I go,
sorry,
no,
my core reaction is either ew, why, or oh my god, I'm so sorry.
So we at one point I made comment that they just smell like outside and pickles. And apparently, from what I learned on the internet recently, smelling like outside is something that black people say. So I'm here to ask you today, do you know what I mean when I say smelling like outside?
No, I thought that was something you came up with.
No, really.
What?
I guess
it's a thing it's a thing that black people say?
I guess so, because
is it like bippity boppity sockety or whatever Michael Scott black people phrase is? What if you're just teaching me black people phrases that just aren't real, like on The Office? That would be the best. No, I've never heard this before. Yeah. This is new. This is new to me.
You like smell like you've been outside, but we
like
just
a wet dog.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. You just smell like...
That's what I think of.
You smell like nature.
Yeah, that's interesting. So this is a thing. If you said that to a black person, another black person, more than likely, they would understand that's a turn of phrase.
Your mileage may vary. I know in my family it's a common phrase. I know when I say it to Dee, she knows what I mean. That she's been around me enough to just accept my random phrases. Like at one point,
so
I was just using the word Sheboygan as an exclamation, and she just rolled with it. Yeah. So yeah, Sheboygan.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has like phrases and stuff like that within their family, or weird, obscure jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
So like like within my just nuclear family kind of thing, my dad and we always say, because there's that skit on SNL with Mike Myers and Nicole Kidman where he was the over energetic child, speaking of children.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I do.
Yeah, where he's like, "You're the devil," and like it's one of my favorite. I mean, there were so many Mike Myers skits that I loved, but it was one of my favorites. And he's like, "I love you, and she's like, "I know." So that has been the way that my dad and I communicate for years.
That's really sweet. Because that always came off as just a very Canadian way of saying it.
Yeah, it was just a weird, like it's just become a thing, like that happens when stressed or bad, or in both good or bad situations. It's just the thing. But so like that is within the family, you understand it, but like outside of it, someone would be, whatever, like not understand it. So that's what I'm curious about. Is this phrase something that your family invented?
I've never questioned it. So I need to solicit the crowd, the audience, the listeners, once again, to find out. Do you refer to smelling like outside as smelling like outside, or do you have a different phrase for it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have a phrase for that.
Right.
Like outside of what you're saying.
Because it's not like being funky or musty. You just, kind of sweaty and smell like nature.
Yeah, to me, I'm just like, get away from me. Like if it's a kid, I'm like, go take a shower, goddammit.
Like you smell like you've been out in the sun,
By the way, I'm not going to have kids, guys, so don't worry. You're hearing this and you're like, oh, God, this is terrible. Like, don't worry. I'm not taking care of anything other than animals, and I love them more than people. So,
So
don't worry.
Are we good on the Welling Fraser announcement right now?
I mean, as long as you recognize that Welling and Fraser being in the same thing is a big deal. Like,
it is. It absolutely is.
All right. I just felt like there was a lot of Fraser love. There wasn't a lot of Welling love.
He's DCU alumni,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That is right. I forgot about that. He's on that show that I've never seen. I love him.
Yeah.
But I never watched it. Because it was like 2 seasons before that I didn't see,
I can't recommend Doom Patrol to everybody. But I need to get your take on it. Like, I need to hear what you think about it.
I guess at some point I will watch it.
It's out there, man. Like, I know the first episode is free on YouTube if you get bored or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that
man,
makes it easier.
It is really out there, but it's out there in my type of out there. It scratches a similar itch to both The Tick and Umbrella Academy for me.
Yeah, I never saw The Tick. I've seen parts of Umbrella Academy. I'm really weird about starting shows and then just like drifting and going into something else.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, that's because there's we live in peak TV. Things. Right. This is
it's
peak
also
TV.
Peak TV. Yeah, it's also this thing where like sometimes I'll start something because I'm anxious and I need to get away from something. I need to distract myself and make myself feel better. And the 2 best things that I have with that are either like watching a show or listening to a podcast because it just pulls me out of things. So like, for example, Veep was a show that I tried watching X amount of time ago. And I know it was like an anxious, I need a comedy thing. And it didn't click with me. I'm sure it was my mood. I'm sure it was whatever. And I've been rewatching it now.
Yeah.
And it is killing me. Oh my God, the insults on that show.
Isn't it great when there's a show that you just couldn't really get down with, but then like it wraps up, so you give it another shot, and then it's like, oh man, now all this content is available to me.
yeah. I'm on like season 3 already because they don't have that many episodes in a season. So I'm like, oh my God, this might be my favorite Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Like, the insults, man. They're what get me at the end of the day. I love it.
I mean, something similar happened to me with Arrested Development. Like, I watched the first episode, I want to say, when it was just on the air on Fox. Mm-hmm. It didn't grab me. But then, I got into it a little bit later because I, started seeing Michael Cera and some other stuff. I saw him in Superbad, I saw him in Scott Pilgrim. So I'm like, oh, okay, he's on this TV show along with all these other actors and actresses that I enjoy from other things. Let me give it another shot. And I just watched it through that lens. Like, okay, I didn't really see them as their characters ever. I'm like, they're just giving this comedic performance now. These are the actors just having a blast. And I got into it. I dug it. Yeah.
I still haven't watched the newest seasons, whatever is out. But yeah, I mean, the original run I loved.
Oh, absolutely.
It was really, really good stuff. I did that with Lost as well. That's my Lost story, which I've told on the show, where I tried to watch it and it didn't click, and then I kept going back, or I finally went back because I was convinced by friends that you need to do this, and I was like, all right. So I did that. I don't have too many. Usually I have a pretty good sense. That show Dead to Me that was that just came out recently and just got picked up for another season. They announced that today. That show took me a little while to get into.
I've heard people say that before. My coworkers actually recommended it to me.
It's good. It's good stuff.
It is. I watched the whole thing now. I'm caught up. So
yeah, I watched it in 2 days, 2 nights.
It's because I remember asking you, and you were like, "Yeah, I watched it with my dad, and we just couldn't stop." I'm like, "Wow, yeah, that's true." It's a page turner.
And it's shorter episodes too. It's not like a 50-minute show. It's 20 to 30. Mm-hmm. So, but it's still has a drama element to it, or a dark comedy, a black comedy.
Right.
So it's a weird one. It's a weird show.
It is a weird show, and what's funny to me is that oh my goodness, Christina Applegate, her delivery, the way that she acts is a lot like oh my goodness, the guy from Arrested Development, the main guy.
Bateman?
Yeah.
Jason Bateman?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch her show years ago, Samantha Who?
I think I skipped that one.
Okay, it was really good. And that was the show that kind of sold me on Applegate, because I did not watch Oh, God, what was the show?
Not Married with Children.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Yeah. No, that was a that was a
I found
poor
that
example.
show gross.
Yeah, it was a poor example of acting ability from everybody involved.
Right, and I wouldn't judge anyone based off of something like that. But what I'm saying is that my exposure to her was limited. So it was that and then The Sweetest Thing, which was one of those I was like, oh my God, this is like, that type of movie, but it's women. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my, that was the first time that I saw anything like that.
What sold me on Christina Applegate was Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Oh, what is that?
Oh man, this is great. Okay, so.
I don't know.
It was either shortly after or while she was on Married with Children that she decided to start her movie career, and the first one was Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Sounds promising.
Is exactly what it was. It was just their parents
was
on
she
vacation.
The dead babysitter?
No, she was the one that was, she became the mom after the babysitter died, and her parents were out of town before cell phones existed. So they couldn't just call and check on them.
Cell phones ruined so many stories.
Yeah, seriously. So they went on some type of cruise or something like that, and they couldn't come home right away. So
one does with their fucking children in the 80s, where you're like, let me just throw them out there and see if they live.
But it's just one of those teen coming of age movies because, there was a guy she was sweet on, and of course she had annoying little brothers and sisters, and she had to take care of them. But the tagline, not the tagline, but one of the lines from the movie, because one of her brothers is a knucklehead, and so, she's yelling at him. She's like, you gotta do the dishes before you can go out with your little ragtag group of friends or whatever. And so he goes on the rooftop, and his buddy's throwing the dishes like clay pigeons, and he's shooting them with his pellet gun. And he goes, the dishes are done, dude. And that was the end of the trailer. But at the time,
sounds terrible.
It was, but it
I
was
need to
enough.
watch it. Yeah, no. It sounds terrible. I need it.
That was it. That was
it. That makes sense. that checks out.
That and Adventures in Babysitting were
and then of course it has Linda Cardellini in it, and you're just like,
yeah, Daphne.
You're majestic.
Yeah,
I mean, Daphne.
No, she was Velma. She was Velma.
Velma, whatever.
Yeah.
I saw there's a weird, when I was looking for my comic book for this week, which we'll get into later with graphic novels, that there's a weird hipster Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like Scooby-Doo Untold.
In space or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's like a post-apocalyptic Scooby-Doo.
Right. And I'm both intrigued and disgusted, so that's probably going to be next week's book.
It's so strange. All those Hanna-Barbera books that DC took a gamble on, they had no business being as interesting as they were.
Because, really good? That's interesting.
Yeah, and I gotta be 100% honest. I didn't read many of them because when I heard Hanna-Barbera, I'm thinking, oh, cool. So they're gonna bring Space Ghost and the Blue Falcon in and make them superheroes or something like that. No.
Those weren't Hanna-Barbera, were they?
Oh yeah, they definitely were. Yeah, Space Ghost was, because remember they had Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and that was on Cartoon Network, which was a Hanna-Barbera Turner type.
But wasn't that an adult thing?
Not initially. So Space Ghost initially was just a straight up 15-minute superhero cartoon.
Coast to Coast, that one.
Coast to Coast was made using the animation from that old cartoon. That's why they made it, because they did it on the cheap. Yeah, none of that was new animation. All they did was cut and paste it off, of other stuff. That's why he was always making the same gestures and everything like that,
I mean, I didn't like that show because it was weird. It was because I remember watching, because that was on Adult Swim, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, it was late night Cartoon Network.
Right.
But then it turned into Adult Swim.
I remember when I first got into late night Cartoon Network. This was in the time when I was getting into reruns on Comedy Central of SNL and stuff like that during the day. Or, I'd come home or, skip school, which was a thing. Guys, don't do that. You'll skip a grade. Or you'll have to repeat a grade, like I did. But I would stay home from school, or when I would get home from school, I would watch SNL and all that. And then at night, because, poor supervision, I would watch Adult Swim.
Yeah.
So that I was watching like Family Guy for before that became a thing.
Yeah. So that's where you got in. You got in during the Family Guy
and then
years.
home movies and like all of that stuff. Like that the oblongs. Oh my god, remember the oblongs?
Oh, definitely. So with Space Ghost specifically, they had to fill some time in the late night Cartoon Network block before they even thought about putting on an animation for adults. Back when, if they ran out of stuff to air, they would just show infomercials, you know?
Right.
So they would just take old episodes of Space Ghost and just chop them up and put him in this talk show setting, which is why he had like his villains Zorak and Moltar as his crew, and then sometimes Brack would show up, and they would always just be doing like the same few frames of animation, but they would just put different dialogue behind it. That
is so weird.
It is, but it worked.
I'm gonna have to go on YouTube and like explore this a little bit more just to see it
with new eyes, because it's gonna impress you how they fooled you for so long into thinking they were just putting out all that content.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would just get a celebrity and they would interview them in just a generic studio with the actual voice actor and everything. And then they would just animate it after that.
That's awesome.
Right.
I love that they did that. That is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. They got really inventive back then. And then they started coming out with, their original show specifically geared at adults. So they had, they continued with Space Ghost. They did a Brack spinoff where he had like a family, which is weird. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which
right, that took off.
That took off way too hard and way too long. I blame Pot.
That was Rick and Morty before Rick and Morty.
I can't even give it that much credit. Like Rick and Morty at least tries.
No, I'm not talking about any of the stuff. I'm talking about fandom and the thing that it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
That like culture almost.
My favorite one was Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Yep, I remember Harvey Birdman. I remember all of this stuff. I just didn't like, let me rephrase that. I probably would like it now, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like
some of it kind of struck me weird too, and I think it's kind of an age thing because it was like, these characters are pure. Leave them alone,
Yeah.
Everybody was always trying to make Scooby and Shaggy potheads and everything, and I'm like, no, dude. They just like to hang out and they get hungry. It's fine. Don't put that on them.
I once saw a Scooby-Doo Thanksgiving special.
Yeah.
And they literally had like a turkey baster, and the way that the animators framed it was that the bird's legs were in the air and it looked like they were artificially inseminating.
Oh no!
And it was like, yeah.
Yeah, they made some bad choices with shortcuts back then because
they knew what they were doing.
They knew they got bored. They were just trying to pass the time. Yeah,
it's hard work. You gotta do something.
So
okay, summer movies are kicking in.
Yeah, they are.
And just to get into this, so there's a rumor right now that Keanu Reeves is going to join the MCU.
Okay.
Why? Oh crap! What did I do? I'm sorry, I messed up the notes. I pressed the wrong button. That was my bad. You guys have no idea what just happened, but I just flipped it up. Okay, so he's in talks to join the Eternals, which they're saying he's in early negotiations, and Angelina Jolie and Kumail Nanjiani.
Huh.
So Kumail's gonna be a superhero, which that I totally buy.
That's cool.
That would be cool. I mean, I don't know anything about the Eternals, but if he's gonna be a villain or what, I think it'd be fun to see.
I hope they don't make him the villain, just because
he's too sweet.
Yeah, he's too sweet.
Yeah.
Hashtag too sweet. I think. Okay, having read Neil Gaiman's Eternals comic from a few years back, I know I know nothing about the fucking Eternals.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy was before the movie came out. Like, I didn't give a fuck about the Guardians.
Yes, that's why I'm kind of excited, because I don't shit about it, and I have no expectations for it, and that's exactly what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, what, they're gonna make a raccoon talk? What?
Something about a raccoon.
And then it's a tree? What are you talking? What is this?
Yeah, and then the dude from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, what they got Fat Andy in there? Like,
Fucking Vin Diesel. Fuck that shit. No. A wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just...
no, I mean, there was so much about that movie that shouldn't have worked.
It was like Mad Libs,
Yeah.
It shouldn't have worked. But yeah, they've earned my trust enough to give them $12 or whatever the cost of a movie is when that finally comes out.
$54.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Maybe that movie pass will come back, huh? Yeah. No.
Is that officially gone?
It's dead to me. Once they went bankrupt and people were getting turned down, being able to see movies.
that was fucked. I remember that now.
Yeah. It was a bad premise. It was a bad execution of that idea anyway.
Yeah, well that's the whole thing, is that this model cannot sustain itself. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
It looks like they're still alive. Their website's still alive.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I don't trust them.
Twitter. They're still tweeting.
They went bankrupt once. I'm not trusting them again.
Oh, fuck no. I'm not giving them anything, but they are still going, guys. Yeah. They're still alive. Don't do it.
All right. Good for them. So, Eternals. Yeah. I don't know, man. I know they have a female director, which is cool.
Oh, sweet. Who is it? Do you know?
I don't know offhand. I was reading it in the story, actually. I need to go back and check it out. But, I mean, that's...
I skimmed the story and I was like, cool, I'm in.
That's enough to get me in, man. Keanu Reeves, I would like them to have something...
Chloe Zhao is
the
director. That name does not sound familiar to me. Okay, keep talking. I'm going to look her up.
Yeah, when I see Keanu Reeves' name attached to something, I want it to be something meaty. Like, he was in that movie, Always Be My Maybe.
Oh
that's
my
been
God,
getting a lot
that
of stuff.
was so good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I feel like I have, because the entire internet pulled a Game of Thrones and just kept on talking about it. So I know all the story beats. I know all the cameos.
Yeah, well, no one cares anymore. They're just doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Interesting. So this Chloe Zhao has only directed 2 feature-length films.
Oh, okay.
Songs My Brothers Taught Me, and The Rider. I've heard good things about The Rider. I haven't seen it. And then she did several short films before that.
Okay.
So she's very young, born in 1982, doesn't have a huge catalog, and yet Marvel is going, here's a thing, do it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very excited
risks.
about this.
They take those type of risks and they usually pay off, so... unless you're the Inhumans. But other than that, pays off.
Did something happen with that one? Or nothing happened with that one?
Nothing happened with that one. That
TV
show came and went. No, they turned it into a TV show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
See? Nobody watched it. I watched it once, and I said, I am not wasting my time on this. I feel bad enough wasting my time on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I never watched it. I don't really care on a lot of the TV shows.
I want to care. That's just it. I want to care.
DC TV shows.
When they had deep ties to the MCU as a whole, I was interested. I was invested. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens peripherally from all these stories. But then they kept losing track. They kept losing sight. They became overambitious with the connection with movies and TV to the point where one didn't really reflect on the other. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson showed up late one season. I think it was around when Winter Soldier was about to come out. Yeah,
because that broke the whole thing.
Yeah. That was
they had this whole thing set up, and then they were like, well, bye. Bye, S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. So now there's S.H.I.E.L.D. on TV, and then there's whatever Nick Fury's doing over there, which they don't really call S.H.I.E.L.D., but they don't not call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Anyway, all I know is that Lady Sif went to the TV Marvel Universe and never came back.
Well, she had to do that tattoos show.
Is that still going on?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I never watched it.
Well, she can carve out a few months in the summer to film a movie, is all I'm saying.
Not with a television show.
If they can get Natalie Portman to come back, they get Lady Sif to come back.
They didn't get Natalie Portman to come back. That was unused footage.
Did they have to pay her for that, though? I would think so.
Bitch,
right?
yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay. She got some of that back in.
She appears.
Yeah.
It's her. I assume. Yeah. I assume they'd have to at least pay her scale.
Right.
Just based off of that's got to be like the Crispin Glover defense. Like that, it's got to fall under that. Which is, if you're using my image, I have to A, give you permission, and B, get compensated for it. Because that's what he went and fought for with Back to the Future 2.
Yeah, like, come here. Sorry, Beano's doing things.
It's okay, baby beams. Okay. No, but like that's what he fought for with Back to the Future 2. Was they used his an impersonator basically, and his imagery. They did makeup to make it look like him, and he's like, "What the fuck? I didn't agree to do this. You can't do that." It's going to be the same thing going forward with, animation being the way that it is.
Man, how creepy was it at the end of Rogue One with Carrie Fisher?
Wow, fucking spoiler. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, that's a perfect example. Which it's that, and the same thing with the guy that they recreated.
Oh, General Fawn or whatever his name was? Yeah, we'll say
guy.
that. Someone's yelling at this
General
podcast
Prawns,
right now.
Whatever. So that guy, like they use his imagery and everything like that. And
General Prawns from Mon Calamari.
Yeah. No, I mean this brings up that issue, which is you have to compensate. You have to get permission. In the case of someone who's deceased, I would assume the rule becomes you have to get permission from the family.
Yeah, and some people frown on that. And I wanted to ask you about that, too. That's something that's kind of been on my mind. So a lot of folks are a little wary about the next Star Wars movie because they have to use Carrie Fisher footage that they filmed and didn't use last time. They're going to use a little bit of CG from what I understand, or at least that's being discussed. So what's the statute of limitations there? I mean, we had a whole movie where all they did was take old footage of celebrities that had passed away and made them say things about Forrest Gump and about how great he was. So what's the statute of limitations there? So
you mean with getting permission?
Well, I mean with the respecting the party that passed away.
So I don't know what like the official rules are. I know where they came from. I know that it's a thing. I would assume it's kind of similar to how if you write a novel, you got like 100 years, that's yours, and then it's open to everyone. Anyone can publish it. Anyone can do whatever with it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about like copyright law. I'm talking about like the idea.
I'm saying I imagine legally it's similar to copyright law.
Well, not even legally. I'm just talking about it as a fan, as somebody that respected the work of Carrie Fisher. So
I think that if you're a filmmaker who has to make that call, you have to talk to the family. And if you do not get the permission from the family to do every single thing that goes through it, and if you have the family against you, you're fucked. Yeah. So don't even bother.
Yeah, because they're just going to badmouth you to the press.
Because the family's not going to win against Disney. At the end of the day, they're not. They're not going to win.
Right.
They will never win in a court with Disney.
Yeah.
And if they do, they will be drained dry of all of their finances by the end of the day. So, and then lawyers will take most of the settlement and everything like that.
We'll have to discuss the families of Joel Siegel and Jerry Shuster and Bob Kane.
Yeah.
And all their legal battles and stuff, because that's interesting and sad.
Yeah. And I'd have to do more research on that. I think that I know the basics of it. I don't know that much about it. I think that in the case of Carrie Fisher, it's all Billy. Like it's her call. It's Billy Lord's call.
Well, that's good. That's good.
No, I'm not saying that's the official thing. I'm saying that I've read that she goes, oh, it's respectful and everything like that. As far as permission, though, if I were J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, whomever, I would be working directly with her and going, okay, you are her child. Like if Debbie Reynolds was still alive, she would also be a factor.
Yeah.
But if you were using Debbie Reynolds, for example, like her imagery, I would say that her son would also be involved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he necessarily has a say. I think he probably does, as far as like them just being courteous, but with Carrie's legacy. But I would say it's Billie Lourd. Like it's her mother. She's young. She's my age, so she's still dealing with, everything, the legacy with losing her mother so young and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I think that as far as how you go about that is you just get that blessing and you run everything by them and you involve them in the process as much as they want to be involved in the process, really. Aside from like altering the story. And in that case, you're getting into weird, I don't know how you navigate that. I mean, that's a job of a director, producer, and all of that. Like you're going to have to deal with people. So you're going to have to deal with issues that come up. But I think, to me, I don't worry too, because I think Carrie would, whatever happens, she would find it hilarious. So it's almost like she's not a good example.
Yeah. And that, I mean, you're right in that regard. And Mark Hamill and everybody that knew her would say that, as well.
It's also not her. Mm-hmm. It's her character. That's when you get into a little bit of a thing. So I have more issues with, say, like the Tolkien movie.
Okay.
That is saying this is Tolkien's life and his marriage and his X, Y, and Z. And you're talking about the interpersonal stuff of a real person as opposed to a character. And that's where I'm like, you're getting it. I mean, that family has rejected that movie completely.
That's true.
So that is, that's when you get into really dangerous territory, in my opinion. Mostly the families, I think when you're talking about fictional characters, if it's something as important as like, General Leia, they go, okay, well, just make sure like you pay respect to the character and to her and everything like that. Don't do something shitty with it. That's kind of it. I would assume that that's how you deal with it. But, when you're talking about...
It's all interesting. And, there's going to be people who are outspoken about it. There are going to be people who There are going to be people who put words in her mouth. There are going to be people that put words, to power in a way that makes it seem like any type of representation of her or her character on screen is going to be offensive and disappointing. There's no right answer.
People want to be offended by everything, so that's a whole separate issue.
See, I hear that, but I gotta tell you, that statement,
sucks.
It sucks. It sucks because
it does suck. But
I can't imagine someone wanting to be offended. I can see people prone to quickly become offended. I can see that, and I'm not going over semantics here. It's just
we've talked about. You think that opinion gives you a personality. I've seen this with a lot of people, and you have too, where it's like the things that you hate define you as much as the things that you love.
That's one aspect of it, yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean though. Like there is that there's something that bad that's like the internet is feeding that bad part of our brain is basically what I'm saying.
Right.
And I'm not saying like, like everyone's offended and everything like that. I'm saying that this is a thing that's clearly we're dealing with on a cultural level, on a large scale. And that end result is a lot of people getting offended at a lot of things. And some of those things are very valid and they should be offended by and we should change. And some of those things are forest for the trees. My
concern comes from, and this is something I mentioned last week about the whole change.org petition to redo Game of Thrones or whatever. My concern is the whole boy who cried wolf thing, where people will get tired of hearing about folks getting that angry about fiction, about things that don't matter in the grand scheme of things.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, which is you're missing the forest for the trees. Like you are not seeing the bigger picture when it's like there are a lot of problems that we do need to be enraged about. But if you're getting enraged about everything, you're going to miss it. Like, you're going to miss these important issues. That, like, you're talking about getting mad about fiction and everything.
On the other side of the coin, I understand, too, that people do need to kind of relax themselves a little bit when it comes to just trying to shut down concern just from the onset, just by being dismissive of it. Because they're just trained to do so. They're trained just organically now. Just, typical this. When that starts coming out of your mouth, when those type of sentiments and thoughts start appearing in front of you, you really need to take stock of yourself and figure out, why is everything just being swept under the rug? Why is it everybody else is wrong but me?
Yeah. No, that's true. I did make a very generalized statement, but you understand, like, I feel like most people listening understand at this point. Oh,
absolutely. And I'm not calling you out or anything. It's just something that's kind of been getting under my skin lately. With
me specifically doing it, or everyone?
No, everybody.
Okay. Well, look, if it is me specifically, I want to be aware of it. I do want to be,
I'm not going to argue.
Educated on. I want to get learned.
I'm not going to argue with you on the podcast unless it's entertaining. If I have an issue with you, we talk before the show.
It's more podcast stuff. So who gives a shit? I don't care.
Our Patreon listeners get to hear us argue.
Motherfucker. Murder!
Well, Matt quit the podcast this week. If you'd like to find out why, check out our Patreon.
Yeah, check out our Patreon page. Subscribe. I look, people, there are going to be people that are going to get upset about it. And the reason that I say that, they're getting outraged at X, Y, and Z is because I've seen things that I'm seeing it. Okay. Perfect example right now. Pride. It's Pride Month. Pride Month has started. June is Pride Month. It's Pride Month because of Stonewall. That's when the Stonewall riots happened. And the first anniversary of Stonewall was the first gay pride parade. And thus, that is, like, 1969 was when it started. That was when Stonewall happened. A year later, we do the first Pride. That's why Pride Month exists. So, I'm seeing a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, they're funny. Like, they're making me laugh. But I'm also seeing straight people retweet and share this, and that's in this thing, and it's like making jokes about corporations embracing pride for money, which is a genuine concern and a real thing. But then at the same time, I'm seeing some people make the joke, and I'm like, why are you making that joke? No one I know personally, but like
just a joke that businesses are using pride to
so they make
money?
Memes, and so like one meme was Krusty Krab or Mr. Krabs. So it was like, why are you doing pride or whatever for your business? And he's like, money, 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 like that thing.
Yeah.
And there have been several of them, and some of them are hilarious. Like the one that I saw earlier was Michael Scott kissing Oscar.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And it's like, and it was corporations embracing pride, and then it was Michael Scott, and then Oscar was gay people. Like, like was him going, oh God, no, don't. So it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, this is funny, but it's also a weird complaint over a thing that I feel was demanded, which is recognize us. Recognize like this community.
Right.
And then to go, now you're just doing it for money. I'm confused by the messaging. I'm like,
I'm glad that you brought this up. And this is the second time I've said this on the show, but I'm really glad you brought this up because this is something I wanted to ask you about too. When Pride Month began and you started to change the social media stuff to, just celebrate pride and everything like that. Yeah. At first, like, there was a part of me where inside I'm like, okay, this feels like kind of off. Not because it's like, oh no, I'm not all about that. You know better than that.
I know. Yeah.
But just the fact that it was like, this is my brand and here I am incorporating gay pride into my brand, but I'm not LGBTQ.
Yeah, but I am.
You are. And
right.
I mean,
so, and I was the one who did it. So like,
yeah. And I mean, that's the easy answer. Honestly, like that's like, okay, whew, that's fine. She did it. It's not me. I don't care.
But if that wasn't the case.
But if it wasn't the case, the reality is that yes, this is my brand and I am still welcoming of LGBTQ. Yeah. And so I'm still going to celebrate it along with everyone else, or at least show that my brand, that my particular show is embracing of that culture and wanting to incorporate it. So
the thing that I've seen that I haven't liked has not been anyone within the community that has been like, I don't feel cool with all of these companies taking this on. That's not what I like. If they're voicing that, I'm going, oh, okay. Yeah, I see your point there. It's seeing people that are like, these corporations are fucking pandering. They're doing this, they're doing that. And I'm like,
you're not even in the conversation, man.
No, right? That's what it feels like. And there's a straight pride parade in Boston that's going to happen. There's so much bullshit, man. And it's just like, it's not just like, but there's Black History Month. And then you hear people like, why don't we have White History Month? And you're like, what the fuck? You're not even a part of this. Like,
now that's some wall of weird shit right there. You sent me that link. The dude from Smash Mouth spoke up against that straight pride parade.
Yeah, that is, we can say that as wall of weird, which is the Smash Mouth is apparently smashing it on Twitter, and they're like super progressive apparently, and like, they were like, fuck your straight pride parade, basically. So that's our wall of weird moment. We're just like, what is happening? First of all, what year is it?
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I don't know. It's a confusing thing. I think that you can feel both ways about it. You can feel both like you love it because you're like, oh my God, these companies are embracing all of this, and also feel like, but are they doing it for money? But that's right. You need to be aware. Like what I think that moment that you had is just as valuable as me going, if you did the same thing for like a Black History Month thing where I'd be like, oh shit, is that okay? Did I'm part of that? Like I think that's okay. Like I think that's a normal thing.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just it too. The conclusion I came to is that there is no conclusion. I'm still learning.
I also did all of that. I did not plan to do all of that, to change all of the social media. It will probably change back before Pride Month is over. But I was seeing some bullshit bigotry online, transphobia and homophobia and all of that. And I just was like, nah, son, not today. Not today, Satan. Like, so I was like, all right, this is changing at least for a week or so.
And that's fine. I mean, beyond all that it represents, I like rainbows. So
thank you. Seriously, thank you. I also love the new version of the pride flag, which they didn't have when I did the filter. But have you seen the newer version of the pride flag that includes black and brown?
No, I haven't. Interesting.
So there is a pride flag that they put black and brown stripes at the top, which is recognizing that people of color exist within this community, and that they are a part of our community, and therefore their rights matter as well. And we need to fight for the rights of everyone within this community, and that includes people of color.
Exactly. It's about inclusion of folks that are marginalized.
Right.
And that's just it. That's what we stand for. You and I as a duo. That's what we stand for.
Which is what, what's it called? Feminism. The term in feminism, where you're including. Anyway, it originated with, women of color going, we're women too.
Right.
And you have to help us with racial issues as well, because that affects women. Hello? Like, that just makes sense.
Yeah. I've heard some disappointing things about Boys Town here in Chicago recently, and their lack of inclusion of people of color in a lot of different scenarios. I don't know what that is.
What is that? I'm not in Chicago, so what is it?
Boys Town, I mean, it's pretty much as it says on the tin. Boys Town is basically the neighborhood in Chicago where the majority of the gay community comes to hang out. So there's like a lot of gay bars and stuff like that there. A lot of shops that appeal to you know, that lifestyle. You know,
it's your version of the Castro.
Now see, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, San Francisco.
Oh, okay. We both learned something today. Yeah. But I love how the term Boys Town is just on the nose. It's like, this is Boys Town. So a lot of white families tend to gravitate towards that area. You know, white cis families gravitate towards that area because they're like, oh, it's safe to raise my kids here. You know.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's like you're missing the point completely. Gay people were driven to this area to get away from your ridicule and bullshit, and now you're going to come and try to not only appropriate that, but probably try to control it too, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, great. Yeah, fucking don't do that. But whatever. That's a whole different
deal. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation. Everyone certainly has the right to have these conversations. I just caution against overdoing it.
Yeah.
In any way with certain things. Like, certain things are definitely important, but you have to recognize that some things really aren't. And, you know, Game of Thrones not turning out the way that you wanted it to. And, you know, it's not that important.
That's entitlement right there.
It is. And look, I wanted it to be X, Y, and Z too. Like, I had expectations as well.
We all have our own headcanon and fan fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the situation we're in, which is, you know, you have to go forward. And hey, the last few books, if they ever get released, are probably going to be dope. So
the true ending of Game of Thrones was Elmo sitting down at the table with Tyrion and Cersei working that shit out with words. That was
my god, I loved that so much.
Go check it out. That's the true ending, guys, if you want to know how Game of Thrones really ends.
I don't have a problem. I'm not getting in. I can't. Nope. Can't.
I know.
I can't.
I know.
All right, summer movies. What do you...
Summer movies.
All right, are you going to see Godzilla? Because that's out, right?
It is out, and I have not seen it, and I want to see it.
Okay. I don't care. I just care about the most recent one with Cranston.
Oh, yeah, this probably isn't for you then, because it's like more of the same.
Yeah,
with
I
less
thought it was going to be better than it was.
Yeah,
like it just, I don't know, something fell flat. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know. I dug it. I dug it because it had.
I didn't
stakes.
hate it. I just didn't love it as much as I thought I would.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It seems very promising.
In the grand scheme of things, I feel like it was important to bring Godzilla back to America without it being that last one that happened in 2000.
Right.
You know, so we got like the big monster threat. We got like the imposing figure of Godzilla once again without it tied up in McDonald's Happy Meals and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And now, of course, they're setting up the big fight between Godzilla and King Kong. So, I want to see this one at least.
Is that what this movie was?
This is supposed to be the bridge, between Kong, Skull Island, and... I
didn't see that one either.
Yeah. And I want to see that. Like, I keep forgetting that it exists because...
I don't care about King Kong. That's my issue.
Peter Jackson killed King Kong for me.
Oh my god. That's I think that's the only movie I've fallen asleep in the theaters.
Yeah.
This is fucking garbage.
It made me bored of Jack Black. That takes effort, because Jack Black is just a powder keg of energy.
'Twas Jackson who killed the king.
Well, karate, I'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
Me out right over there. I love that fucking show.
So we're both gonna watch Spider-Man. There's no doubt about that, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's happening.
That's gonna be cool. Is that July or is it this month?
I think it's July. That's gonna be like our hangover cure for Endgame. Basically, that's gonna be our what's the word for the meetings and all that you go to?
AA.
Not AA, but
well, I don't know. You're talking about meetings. I did see something interesting that, you know, people were comparing Endgame to Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
saying like one was a very satisfying conclusion and the other one wasn't, and why. Oh, it was Batman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking about that, and I thought that was interesting. But
now, do you normally listen to that show, or you listen
No,
to
I
it
don't.
because okay, yeah. But they put out a good show.
I listened to it. I listened to some of his Kevin Smith stuff in the past, and then I was like, oh yeah, I should revisit some stuff because I do like Kevin Smith. Yeah. And I found, this is what I'll say about that, and I'll be done with it. I found that they were the first real criticism of Game of Thrones that I could stomach on that episode, because it was valid criticism that, like, it was constructive, and it was done out of love, not out of I just want to blah, oh, like I just hate this, like.
Yeah, you know, I like Kevin Smith and I like Mark Bernardin because they are they have a penchant to want to like things, like they go in optimistic.
Yes, that's all I need, and people are trying to claim that they, you know, while they're saying these terrible things, like, you know, I wanted it to be good, but I saw it going downhill in season 6. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about?
I feel bad for people that are just like susceptible to that type of influence, like going into it. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck.
It's hard not to. It's because when you hear something enough, your brain does switch, and it goes, man, is this terrible? I think that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Transitioning to another Sophie Turner, Dark Phoenix. Are you seeing Dark
Phoenix? I feel like I kind of have to, just to finish this out. So I've seen every X-Men movie.
That's what I'm curious. So I don't know. I don't remember what I've seen.
So did you see the
new X-Men movies?
Okay. So did you see you didn't see Days of Future Past?
No, that was the one with they brought back Kitty Pryde, right?
Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
They brought back the whole gang.
Yes, and the Iceman was there, and I was like, I love Iceman. Yeah.
Did you see First Class?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see Age of Apocalypse?
This is what I'm going. No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people didn't see that one. Trust me, a lot of people didn't.
Oh, okay. So the only one that I missed was Apocalypse.
Right. It seems like there were more, right?
Yeah, it feels like they've been coming out with those forever, and I just have missed them.
Consider the whole Quicksilver thing. So Quicksilver they introduced in First Class.
Did they? No, I think it was Days of Future Past.
Now I'm messed up. Because they had to introduce Quicksilver. I know Quicksilver has had...
I loved First Class.
Yeah.
Loved it. Days of Future Past I thought was fun.
It was fun. It was a little overloaded. Apocalypse was boring as fuck.
Okay. Well, who directed that? Oh, well, that explains it. All right.
Yeah,
that explains it. Yeah, because X-Men First Class was directed by Matthew Vaughn. That's why it was dope.
Yeah.
He's a good director.
So there was First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and then Dark Phoenix.
Yes. So I haven't seen Apocalypse, and I'm curious. I mean, but I want to because I do like the people that they've cast in these films.
Yeah, but they don't give them anything to do. It's like if you just stand around in a costume.
Maybe Dark Phoenix will be good.
Yeah, I hope so. It's gone through some reshoots and they've delayed it. Partially in part because of the merger. But
yeah. And I know that there's one.
Yeah, but hopefully they've taken the opportunity
they're doing
to just...
the New Mutants. Never mind. That's never coming out.
Oh God, the oft delayed New Mutants. It's pushed back to 2020 now.
Yeah, no, that's never coming out.
Yeah.
With this merger, that's just going to go in a vault. We might see it in 40 years if we're all still alive.
I kept reading people who had a good idea just to release it on Hulu. Just low stakes. Just be like Hulu exclusive or Disney Plus exclusive. There you go.
I think it's Disney is wanting to take over all of these properties and things, and they're just not. They're not going to do it. Yeah. Oh, okay. So they filmed that in 2017, and then they did Dark Phoenix. Sorry. Yeah. And then they did reshoots in 2018, last year.
They're going to look a little bit, a smidge older in some scenes, yeah.
Oh, man.
Just a smidgen.
This is also...
It's going to be weird.
Why are we doing Dark Phoenix again?
Because they didn't learn their lesson the first time.
I know it wasn't done well the first time. I get it. But, yeah, okay. They're going to have to... I mean, I also wonder, are we really ever going to see the X-Men in the Marvel movies? It's so far down the line.
Yeah,
that, like,
I mean,
by then everything's
talking...
going to be rebooted, and who gives a shit? Why are people excited over this? Like, it's so far away.
They're going to have to do a full reboot to bring in X-Men and Fantastic Four. What's funny is no one's talking about Fantastic Four at all.
Because we've been burned too many
times
on Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I wanted to like it.
I mean, they should incorporate Fantastic Four tomorrow with Spider-Man. Just have them be in the next Spider-Man movie. Like, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
You know.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, don't bother just introduce them in another movie.
Yeah.
And don't worry about making a solo movie. They're already Fantastic Four. You can retroactively do like they did with Captain Marvel, where it was like they can retroactively go back, tell their origin story if they really feel the fucking need to do that again. And just have them be guest stars. Make John Krasinski Reed. Make Emily Blunt. What's her name?
Sue Storm.
Sue Storm.
Yeah.
I don't care who plays the other two.
Bring back Chris Evans as Human Torch.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. I would believe it.
He was great at that, though.
He was. And Chiklis was good as thing. I mean, he did what he could, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was grumpy and rocky.
Yeah.
That's all we needed. So, Men in Black. How do you feel about those?
Oh, I don't care about Men in Black, but I do think the new one looks good.
I enjoyed the first Men in Black movie.
I did when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in years.
The Men in Black animated series, though, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it good? All right,
it was so good. We talked about this before. The Men in Black animated series is great. That's all I'm going to say. Men in Black 2 was okay. Men in Black 3 was trash.
Oh, yeah. That's the more recent one, right? That was one with Roland playing young Tommy Lee Jones?
You're right.
Like, okay.
You get Josh Brolin.
You know, he's got his dad. Like, he could actually just play a different character and then play his dad. His dad could, whatever.
Yeah. But,
nah.
No. So, yeah, Men in Black International's coming out, and I'm excited about it.
Because I like those, too. I like, what's her name? Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson, yes.
And I like Thor. I like Hemsworth.
Yeah.
So.
This also has Kumail Nanjiani in it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
He's hilarious and great.
It's got music by Danny Elfman. It's directed by F. Gary Gray, which is dope.
Danny Elfman. I'm still reeling over Danny Elfman. That's going to be weird.
You know, F. Gary Gray, many, many episodes you confuse with another director. This is the one that directed Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember that. God damn it. That was... R.I.P. John Singleton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I that was dumb.
It happens. There's so many. You know what? How many episodes have we done where I just like lean on you to remind me of an actor or an actress's name? This is a frequent thing. Yes, I'm old, but also you have an encyclopedic knowledge of film.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give you all the credit in the world for remembering what you do.
I don't really know how I do it either. I don't know math. Does that help? I just got rid of that years ago. That skill is gone.
Man. So, I didn't even get a chance to talk about Ellen's interview with David Letterman, but people should go watch that. Yeah.
I haven't watched it, so it's not a good time to talk about it anyway.
Right, because it's good. It's good. That's all.
Yeah. What about Shaft?
Shaft. I'm excited about this based on the premise alone. I don't care about Shaft. I always thought Shaft was a dated idea from when it began to now. But the fact that it's like generations of Shafts coming back, teaming up for some reason.
It is very, very weird. And
it is.
I have not seen any Shaft. Didn't see the old Samuel L. Jackson. I know. Shut up.
Happy Pride, everybody.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Okay, yeah.
The I didn't see the Samuel Jackson. What was it, 2000 or whatever? Like
somewhere around there. It was in that
it's
era.
old as shit. Like what the fuck? They're bringing
Like
it back.
That's and even the fact that they would go back and reference that 2000 Shaft. Like Sam Jackson, he's a star. He's somebody you want to hang your hat on. But the fact that they didn't just continue his story, they just go, you know what? Nope, it's another Shaft, but this is his daddy, and this is his daddy's daddy.
Was that not in that movie?
I don't think so. I think it was just like, I think the 2000 Shaft, they just treated it like he was just the Shaft.
I remember when I first saw the trailer for Shaft, I looked up, like, what the fuck is going on with this continuity? And I tried to get it, and it didn't make sense.
I'm sorry, Wikipedia's got our answer. It says, Jackson's John Shaft character is the nephew of the first film's Shaft.
Oh, okay. So now this is his kid.
This is his kid.
So, Uncle Shaft.
I'm not calling the man Uncle Shaft.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Uncle Shaft. This is, and this guy is John Shaft the III somehow.
The third.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's named after other Shafts. This is the worst. Not a fan.
The next Shaft, people will complain if this ever happens, but the next Shaft, if they ever do one, it has to be a girl. It's got to be a woman.
No.
She's just got to be a player.
Feminism bullshit.
You know what? I think Lizzo should be the next Shaft.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. Make it a musical. Go for it.
I'm watching it. I don't care.
I am too.
It's going to be great. Yep.
Yep. I'd watch it.
I'd watch the
shit out of that.
Word.
I think those are all the big movies that are coming out this summer.
Yeah.
Wait, no, Lion King. Oh, I'm on board for Lion King. So.
Right. How could I forget Lion King?
Well, as of now, I'm on board for it. We'll see. I mean, I thought that I was in between with Aladdin. I still haven't seen Aladdin because it looks.
Yeah. I've heard people are just kind of whelmed. Not overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good. So I'll probably watch it when it comes out. Same thing with Beauty and the Beast. I'll rent it or buy it, whatever, when it comes out.
Yeah. No, I meant with Aladdin, people are just kind of like, oh, it was there.
No, I know, but like what I mean is, Beauty and the Beast took off more. I don't know financially, but people liked it. Yeah. What I'm saying is that I acknowledged, I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing. I'll watch it eventually. And just didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah, I once Disney Plus is a thing, then I can go back and marathon all those live action Disney films.
I've only seen Beauty and the Beast, I think.
Yeah. I haven't seen
what else is there? Jungle Book?
Jungle Book, what are they doing? There's another we've done this already.
I know, it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Goldfish brain. Moving on.
Yeah. So Lion King. That's a watch for you. It's a maybe for me. I'm gonna have to see it because Dee wants to see it, so I'm gonna see it. Yeah. I
think that once we get that first taste of the soundtrack, because we haven't really gotten that yet.
Right.
And all of these amazing artists that they've either brought back or cultivated for this new version of it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's going to be a great soundtrack. Even if it's not the best movie, we still have the original, and then it'll be a Tarzan type situation where we'll have this amazing soundtrack. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that at the very least it's going to be something to talk about. Speaking of live action remakes of stuff, man, the Jeffersons and All in the Family. It was really good. Shout out to Jimmy Kimmel.
I want that multiple times a year.
Me too. I wonder what they can do next. I mean, they got to do Sanford and Son, right?
Yeah. Go to the well, find other ones, but they can also do other episodes of All in the Family and the Jeffersons. Right. Why not? There's a whole catalog there. Do it twice a year.
Man.
Bring the same cast together. If the same cast doesn't come back, have new people play them. It'd be fun. Fuck it. Do it.
I'd be down for that. Yeah. I think that's great summer programming instead of like Dancing with the Stars or Ice Skating with the Stars or
they've done these live musicals for years, like a couple years now, and that's starting to die down. So let this take over.
Thankfully, they're out of good musicals. Like
Oh
was
my
that?
god, the production of Grease that they did, and I was not gonna watch that. I was not here for that because Grease is my fave, and I was like, no, sir. And I gotta admit, I was very impressed.
Really?
Very
I thought you were going
impressed.
another direction with that.
No.
Okay.
No, I was highly impressed with it. I loved. I see. This is the thing. Even when they're terrible, I kind of love them as long as I like the music. Like, as long as I like the original source material, I can still watch the shitty version of it. Like, The Sound of Music had a lot of problems, but that was the first one, and I was just laughing my ass off at certain things with it. So I was fine with most of those.
What about Hairspray? Did you see that one?
Yeah. Hairspray is pretty good.
Yeah. The Wiz. I enjoyed that immensely. I thought that was good.
I saw parts of The Wiz. I saw parts of, oh god, what was the other one? The Peter Pan one.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. I didn't care. I don't care about Peter Pan that much in general. So I liked the woman who played, remember the old Peter Pan?
Yeah.
It was a woman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, I really liked that. But beyond that, I wasn't.
It's hard to care about Peter Pan. It's hard to root for Peter Pan as you get older, you know?
Some little dick boy that takes children.
He just kidnaps children.
He's a guy that goes, I don't ever want to grow up and I want to steal your kids. Why is that okay?
He's the original Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah. You know what Peter Pan is in real life? He's Michael Jackson. It's not cool. Like, that's what happens.
That's what it was. It was right there.
Yeah, no, it's creepy. There's something about that premise that creeps me out.
Yeah.
Then there's a fucking alligator with a clock. I don't know, man. What's going on here?
There's a fucking alligator with a clock. Watch out with them goddamn alligators, man.
They tick,
will
tick,
fuck you up.
Come for your fucking hands or whatever.
I did enjoy Hook, though.
I had a terrible nightmare the other night that there was an alligator in my backyard in the pool.
Oh, no.
And, yeah. I have this with snakes a lot. I have a lot of snake nightmares. I have frequent snake nightmares. Indiana Jones situation, I have to get to a location. I have to get somewhere. There's some sort of emergency, and the ground is covered in snakes.
Oh, God.
But this was, I think, the first time I've ever had an alligator one. I've had shark dreams. I've had snake dreams. I've never had an alligator one. So I was like, well, that's a new hell. What fresh hell is this? Cool.
So you haven't gotten that far in Red Dead Redemption 2 yet.
Wait, oh yeah, where you're in the gator section in the swamp?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Fuck that.
That level where the gators come after you? Yeah,
fuck them gators, man.
That freaked me out, man. Yeah.
Like even Arthur, when he goes to skin them, he'll like kick them a good time before he gets in there. He's like, I don't know.
They're scary.
They're dinosaurs.
Yeah, they are. They're dinosaurs, and you shouldn't trust them.
Don't fucking trust dinosaurs.
Just like certain birds, man. Just don't trust all of them. Like, you can admire them from afar, but damn. All right.
So, Wall of Weird.
Wall of Weird. All right. So we did the first Wall of Weird earlier.
Yes, we did.
Which is just Smash Mouth. Smash Mouth on the Wall of Weird. That's my new favorite. All right. We got some cult updates, guys.
Yeah.
NXIVM. More updates. This is terrible. Guys, it gets worse. All right. I was reluctant to even share this because I'm like, God damn it, this is just going to keep getting worse and worse. But you know what? Wall of Weird doesn't have to be fun aliens, although I'm going to push for next week to just be a fun alien story or something like that because this is getting dark, guys. All right. So this is from New York Times. Mm-hmm. That's not funny. I don't know why I laughed.
I'm ready.
Defense mechanism.
We're ready to laugh.
So this NXIVM leader, Keith Raniere, which is, as you guys know, is both stupid and horrible.
Yes.
Last week we talked about the recordings that he made with Allison Mack because why not leave a horrible paper trail? So they've had 4 days of testimony from a young undocumented woman. She was from Mexico. She was it's saying Daniela. I don't know if that's her real name. They're kind of trying to
protect her.
They're saying they identified only by her first name, but I question as to whether or not that was actually her first name.
Yeah.
This article is written by Colin Moynihan, by the way. Just credit where credit's due. So for almost 2 years, this young woman from Mexico who was an undocumented individual was held inside of a single room with thin foam pad as her only furniture, and a cheat pen as her only tool of communication.
Dear God.
Renier told her solitude was meant to cure her of the sin of excessive pride.
Huh.
She had been ordered into confinement by Renier as punishment for her romantic interest in another man.
God.
So she said, "Today I feel that inside this room I'm in kind of a trance. Being in here is simply insane." Oh, that was what she wrote in a letter in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 4 days of testimony spread over 2 weeks. Daniela recounted her rise and fall within NXIVM. Her status was dictated, she said, by whether she was sexually available to Renier. Even her parents were enlisted to help punish her. This guy's a sick fuck. Sick person. Yeah, she was, it says that, she had extreme control. His ability to dictate social standings within the group, as well as his apparent willingness to retaliate against those who defied him.
So this
is Room, like that movie Room. Like this is the kind of stuff that, like, my God, the only person she was allowed to see outside of Renier was a senior NXIVM member. She literally, she's talking about losing her mind in this situation.
You make a good point when you say it's like The Room, basically, because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, she had to wear the same clothing for weeks at a time. It was like a prison, so meals were kind of like shoved to her, kind of thing, like, or left outside her door. Like, she didn't have any furniture. Unbelievable. And she's undocumented. So who was going to help her in this situation? Because we don't treat undocumented people like they are people, which you can have arguments all day long about immigration, but people are people.
That's what annoys me the most about the whole women's rights thing and all that stuff. Just the fact that it's like
out of context, that's hilarious. Sorry.
All that stuff, you know.
Oh, those
it's
women.
Like you care about the heartbeat so much.
Oh yeah,
you got beating hearts all over the world, all over this country, in your backyard. That
it's not about
people are
that.
hungry, people are locked up, and
it's not about that. It's about controlling people. Controlling the other, controlling women.
Controlling women, right?
Well, controlling women in that scenario, and then controlling brown people.
Yeah,
like that's what it's about. And all of this is set up to fuck over people who are marginalized. That's what this is. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, we have power. We've gotten this power by shedding a lot of blood and doing a lot of fucked up shit, and we're gonna keep doing that to keep it.
Yeah.
That's what it is at the end of the day. They put, the veil over it to try to make it seem like it's better, but it's not.
Like, this thing started out as just a crazy Allison Mack thing,
Yeah, when we all thought, this was a joke. But once they started talking about human trafficking, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's like, it gets
gotten way, 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 way crazier.
It gets worse and worse, and we say this every time, but I'm anticipating the eventual documentary. I know they have one in the works, but I'm really interested in seeing how they piece all this together. Because digesting it like this, every time we talk about it, it's like, your eyes kind of gloss over a little bit, like, oh my God, this is like,
Yeah,
I can't believe people are treating people like this.
Right,
You know?
'cause they're doing the HBO documentary, and that's going to be good because I mean their Scientology documentary was huge. That really shifted me.
Oh, absolutely.
I was not anti-Scientology before that.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things in the periphery. It's like,
those
wacky
it's a religion.
Scientologists.
To me, I was like, every religion's weird, every this and that. I'm like, no, this is a cult. This is bad.
Exactly.
If you're in Scientology and you're listening to us, you got to get out, guys.
Yeah. No, Scientology is Christian Scientists, right? Like that's synonymous?
No, it's different.
It's a totally different thing? Wow.
Totally different thing.
I always thought they were kind of related.
No, Christian Scientists is a different thing. They're the ones who don't really believe in doctors and stuff like that. Scientology is a little bit different. They don't believe in a lot of medications for psychiatry. They don't believe in psychiatry. Well, they don't believe in human rights either. They don't believe in like a lot of psychiatry type medicines, but they're not anti-medication or vaccine or anything like that, as far as I know. But yeah, Christian Scientists are different. I believe Jim Henson's family was a Christian Scientist, and that's why a lot of people, because I read a whole documentary on him. They're now I'm looking it up. So there are Christian Scientists who are not. Yeah, he was raised Christian Scientist, and that's a lot of people speculated that Jim Henson died because he wouldn't go to a doctor. That wasn't what happened with Jim Henson. Brian J. Jones wrote or May Jones, something like that. Brian Jones wrote an amazing Jim Henson book. If you like Muppets and, any of that, go read that book.
That's a good recommendation. There's also a recent YouTube series that I watched from the people that do Defunctland that usually covers like different theme park rides and theme park attractions and how they were created and why they ultimately got taken down. They did a 3-part mini doc on Jim Henson's career. Ooh. And it was a deep dive.
You gotta send that to me.
Career. Yeah, I definitely will. We'll put it in the group. We'll put it in the group.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's where we're gonna start putting stuff, guys. If you go, hey, I want to read more into that article because you just did like a basic scan of it. Tell us. We have all this stuff in our notes. We will put things in the group. So go get the Patreon to get in the group.
Come join us in the group. It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
We are not Christian Scientists. We will let you go to the doctor.
Okay, so Christian Scientists, it cannot be lumped in with Scientology. It is a different thing.
Gotcha.
They have their own stuff, just like anything, but it's not cult status. I mean, that depends on your that's not my...
This is a deeper conversation. It deserves
the ultimate point that I'm making. It is not Scientology. It is not related to Scientology. It is a faction of Christianity.
Gotcha.
My knowledge.
Okay.
Unless I'm getting that wrong. If anyone
I'm going to do some research.
knows better, go for it.
It seems like we've already got notes for episode 16. So...
House cleaning. All right.
Yeah. We're going to check that out. All right. I guess that's it for that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just checking. I was double checking that Christian Scientist is kind of Christian, but it's also just based off of like a self-help book type of thing. All right. So yeah, that's our wall of weird of the week. It's terrible. This whole trial is both fascinating and terrible. So I can't look away. Right. That's that wall of weird.
I didn't do the thing. Wall of weird.
Ugh, okay. Never do the thing. All right.
I always do the thing.
And I always have to go, oh God, why? All right. So graphic novel challenge, check in.
Graphic novel challenge. So we've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, I did. I read Lone Wolf and Cub, the first volume. That's it.
What'd you think?
It was okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot pulling me back in, I will say.
Okay.
Because I was like, okay, like this guy and his kid, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That can be mood as well. Like, maybe I just wasn't feeling it.
It's a possibility. I mean, certain books got to hit you at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was beautiful. But the story wasn't grabbing me. I've had that issue with a lot of these comics that I've tried where I'm like, God damn, this isn't pulling me in. I get this with books too, with a lot of things where I'm like, you really gotta keep my attention here. Cause I'm bad about it.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, we're in peak TV. We're in peak media right now. Everything is a distraction. I'm
not ruling out reading more of it. That's what I will say.
Yeah, but it's like, when will you come back to it? Are you like Chew? Chew, you had to get into right away. You had to go back, dive back in. Same thing with me and Batman Beyond. I'm like, I really enjoy this. I want to read more of it. You know how I am with the Ducks, so I'm not even getting into that this week. Yeah, guys, I made an obsessive checklist that I sent to Lex earlier. I
was like, leave me alone.
I'm like, this is how bad I've become now. Yeah, so I totally get you on that. You got to be in the right mood. Sometimes.
Yeah, and I wasn't completely opposed to it. I was just like, this is weird, and like, I don't know what I was expecting. I've reset expectations and will likely go back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah. What did you read again?
I read, Skyward, the first volume.
Oh yeah, I was curious about that one.
Yeah, so it's an interesting enough story. It was written by Joe Henderson. He's one of the showrunners, or he is the showrunner for Lucifer, actually.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's done by the artist Lee Garbett, who was the artist for Lucifer and Loki, Agent of Asgard. So it's it was pretty cool, but it was just kind of like a loose story. Like, it didn't really grab me. It's like, okay, all of a sudden gravity just goes away.
I've had that with a bunch of things where I'm like, what is this though? Like, you have a concept, but do you have a story?
Well, that's just it. Yeah, the concept was so interesting. I'm like, okay, yeah, how does the world move on if there's no gravity? But it just seems like they kind of got stuck in just showing the main character and how she was navigating the world. But there were so many unanswered questions, and they could have done a lot of...
Cat, stop it. You're a psycho. Stop it. All right, keep going.
I was just going to say, they could have done some better world building in there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I don't think I'll be sticking with it, but, you know, it was fine. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the best, but it was okay.
Yeah.
It was a short read, too, I should say.
So have you picked this next one?
I have. And I see you have as well.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, we picked a very similar draw.
Oh, I thought we picked the same one. I was like, what? That
would have been great.
That would have been fucking weird. What did you pick?
When that happens, everybody drinks on me. I picked the first volume of the Grant Morrison JLA run.
Oh, I've never read any of that. I am very curious to hear.
Long. So this is a book that I was really getting into when I first started collecting comics, but I can't say that I got every issue of Justice League. So it'll be interesting to see it from that aspect. What else is going to be interesting is that this is the Justice League around the time where they try to like reinstitute, okay, we have our core members. We have the main heroes of the DC universe in the Justice League. Because, you know, sometimes they try to go, oh, well, here's a team of lesser known heroes and they're the new Justice League or something like that. They're like, no, we got Superman, we got Batman, we got Wonder Woman and others. So they start there. And this is a weird time in the DC Comics run because they have Mullet Superman. And from there,
God, yeah.
Yeah, and Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, which he's probably my favorite Green Lantern. Yeah. So you have that. But then they delve into the whole Electric Superman story a little bit.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Was that blue or whatever?
Blue and red, yeah. He ultimately split into two separate beings.
Ugh. Comics.
And he had the power of the internet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
2000. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was the thing. So I'm interested to read it now to see how cohesive the book was, having to deal with all the different crossovers and other storylines going on in the DCU. Because that's the problem with these team-up books. They not only have to serve their own story, they have to serve the story that's happening in, like, the Batman solo book and the Superman book, you know?
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating about it.
Yeah.
Or can be. Yeah, I'm reading Superman in the Rebirth, which I've read some of this. Okay. Individual issues or whatever. but I'm just revisiting it because I really loved what I read.
Which one are you reading? Are you reading the Tomasi?
Tomasi.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
he
that
is
a lot.
good. The artwork's beautiful.
Yeah, like he makes you like Clark. You know?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of Superman stories where I'm like, this is what it should be. So, yeah. I'm a fan.
Cool.
So I already know I'm going to like it going into it because I've read some of it. I'm just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like Superman and Son. I like that.
Yeah. I think that's on my favorites list or whatever in my app to check out at some point.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Check out our Patreon. There should be a link in the description of this episode. Go there for exclusive content and fun stuff. Check it out.
There's a crossword. No, there isn't.
Shit, I'm not making a crossword. Don't do that. Don't do this to me.
You got your hopes up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, there's a No, not this time.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was fun.
Yeah.
This was good.
All right, folks. Like I said, thank you for listening. We're going to hop on to the post show over on Patreon now. So keep your eyes peeled, and we'll be posting that very soon along with this episode, which doesn't make sense for me to say on this episode because you're already listening to it. Whatever. Anyway.
Future you. All right.
Paradox.
Be excellent to each other, everyone.
That's right. Take care, folks.